I'm Harold Bell for the Legends of Inside Sports. This segment, Detox, where we talk about champions and chumps. As you know, there's been a lot of attention recently on the protests at the Capitol that really shook America, both sides, black and white. And the thing I like to know today, what is our blueprint? Here we are in 2021, and this type of racism has been going on for decades. I mean, we're talking about, especially when it comes to talking about the police infiltrated the protesters down at the Capitol. Then the FBI comes out and give us an alert that the Ku Klux Klan has infiltrated police departments around the country. We already knew that. We already knew that. And here, of all people, the FBI, they have less than 1% of minorities, especially black folks, in their administration. And they have hired less than 2% of blacks in their organization. So what is the FBI talking about? They are supposed to be really on top of this, investigating and bring some relief to black folks and to minorities. When I stop and I think about that cops are still shooting us, I'm talking about from Mike Brown in Ferguson. I'm talking about Trayvon Martin. I'm talking about Tamir Rice. I'm talking about to George Floyd. I'm talking about to Breonna Taylor. And nobody has been brought to justice. Just recently in Chicago with a black mayor, she covered up a raid on a black female first responder's home after she was coming home to take off her clothes and go to bed. And cops broke in her door just like this was before Breonna Taylor 2 years ago. Broke in her home, and there she was standing naked. Naked. They handcuffed her, and she had to stand in the middle of the floor for 45 minutes. And guess what they said? Wrong home. Wrong home. This was a first responder, the lady that's out there saving lives. And they treated her like she was a common criminal. And when she turned it in to the proper authorities, and we're talking about the black mayor in Chicago, she covered it up. And guess what her lame excuse was? I got busy. Would you believe that? In 2021, where we once had black mayors, men, now they are black women. So you ask yourself, is there any difference? Is there any difference? You know, I know, when I say, do we have a blueprint? I'm talking, do we have a blueprint for our children? Because our children are our future. And Dr. Martin Luther King realized that in 1967, October 26th, when he spoke at Barratt Junior High School in Philadephia. And this was 6 months before he was assassinated. This is how he opened up to those children. He said, I want to ask you a question. And that is, what is your life's blueprint? Whenever a building is constructed, you usually have an architect who draws a blueprint, and that blueprint serves as the pattern, as the guide. And a building is not well erected without a good, solid blueprint. He said, now each of you is in the process of building the structure of your lives. And the question is whether you have a proper, a solid, and a sound blueprint. He said, I want to suggest some of the things that should begin with your life's blueprint. Number one in your life's blueprint should be a deep belief in your own dignity, your own worth, and your own somebodyness. Don't allow anyone to make you feel that you're nobody. Always feel that you count. Always feel that you have worth. And always feel that your life has ultimate significance. Secondly, in your life's blueprint, you must have as the basic principle the determination to achieve excellence in your various fields of endeavor. You're going to be deciding as the days, as the years unfold, what you will do in life, what your life's work will be. Set out to do it well. And I say to you, my young friends, doors are opening to you. Doors of opportunities that were not open to your mothers and your fathers. And the great challenge facing you is to be ready to face those doors as they open. Ralph Waldo Emerson, the great poet, the great essayist, said in a lecture in 1871, he said, if a man can write a better book or preach a better sermon or make a better mousetrap than his neighbor, even if he builds his house in the woods, the world will make a beaten path to his door. This has always been true, but it will become increasingly true. And so I will urge you to study hard, to burn the midnight oil. I will say to you, don't drop out of school. I understand all the sociological reasons, but I urge you that in spite of your economic plight, in spite of the situation that you are forced to live in, stay in school. And when you discover what you will be in your life, set out to do it as if Almighty God called you at this particular moment in history to do it. Don't just set out to do a good job. Set out to do such a good job that the living, the dead, or the unborn couldn't do it any better. If it falls your lot to be a street sweeper, sweep streets like Michelangelo painted pictures, sweep streets like Beethoven composed music, sweep streets like Leontine Price sings before the Metropolitan Opera, sweep streets like Shakespeare wrote poetry, sweep streets so well that all the hosts of heaven and earth will have to pause and say, here lives a great street sweeper who swept his job well. You can't be a pine at the top of the hill. Be a shrub in the valley. Be the best little shrub on the side of the hill. Be a bush if you can't be a tree. If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be a sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or fail. Be the best, whatever you are. Dr. Martin Luther King. So I say this to all our young people out there. Don't give up. Don't give in or give up. As Dr. Martin Luther King said, be the best that you can be. And, be a trailblazer. Go where there's no path and make a trail so that others may follow. Well, that's going to be it for the Legends of Inside Sports, Champs and Chumps in this segment of Detox. I'm Harold Bell, and always remember that every black face you see is not your brother, and every white face is not your enemy. Until next time, you can color me gone. Harold Bell. My wife Hattie and I found a nonprofit organization in 1968, shortly after the riots that almost destroyed my hometown, Washington, D.C. The program caters to the needs of at-risk children as it relates to social services such as education, law enforcement, drug abuse, gang-related violence, and other antisocial